Hi guys. So for tonight's recording, I am going to be focusing on your part. This is for your NSS so that you are able to just get some details and information with regards to your part, which is coming up soon. All right. So before I begin looking at the actual details of the part, I just want to focus on referencing. Please just remember that this is an academic module and referencing is required. There's going to be a combination of in-text as well as a reference list where applicable. There's going to be some questions where referencing isn't needed. So in those instances, I will indicate that. But please just be careful with your submission. I don't want to have to -5 or 10% because of poor referencing. If you are concerned about the referencing for this module, if something's not sitting right with you, please don't hesitate to message me and I'll be able to help you through it. So the referencing is important and the academics is important. So rather get clarity from me and any assistance where you might need. If you are uncertain about referencing the textbook, please just go look up in your module outline and you'll see that your textbook will be listed and you can use the same referencing that VC has used. So it's the full reference is already done for you. All right, so let's have a look at the part itself. So if you can just zoom in your side, you are able to have a look at the page a bit better. I'm zooming in my side. So just the background is that Pringles is in the process of launching their latest new flavors in South Africa. They have a tradition to first launch the new flavors internally and then to start their campaigns to consumers. So Pringles have a new communications intern that is standing in for the communications manager, and that is you. So if we have a look at this particular set of Pringles tubes, you'll see that they are based on Asian flavors, looking at seaweed, grilled shrimp, and soft shell crab. And the colorway is green, pink, and blue. All right, so let's have a look at the at the part. All right, so section A, an internal memo, so that is an email, must be composed to inform the staff of the new Pringles flavors that will be launched into the South African market. Consider what makes communication effective and professional and assist Pringles by writing the memo. Your message needs to address the new flavors being launched, and you can make up any fictional information for the content of the email memo. So for this particular question, like I said, you are using an email format. Now, what is important here, guys, is that I need to see the traditional email formatting. So what this means is that I'm just going to write at the bottom of the page here. You need to have your to, all right? And now you know that it's internal, so you can make up to whoever it is at pringlesa.co.za, all right? You need from, and then that's obviously you, and now you are part of Pringles as well, so you'd give yourself an email address at pringlesa.co.za, and then you need your subject, and you will make up something that relates to the topic, so something of the lines of new flavors be released in South Africa, or maybe new Pringles flavors would be better, new Pringles flavors to be released in South Africa. So, and then from there, you'll have you would say, dear Pringles employees, and you would then use the formatting of an email that is seen within the textbook. So just make sure that when you are using that formatting, that you are clear, that you are writing in a concise manner, and that you are writing in the correct structure. And in terms of the email structure, you are looking at, I just want to write it up here, you're looking at page 235. Okay, so that is the structure of an email as outlined in the textbook. So you've got to make sure you follow that formatting, that you think about your paragraphs. You mustn't be too lengthy and too detailed, because emails are meant to be short and concise, but still make sure all information is present. And I need the detail to see that you're thinking about it, but at the same time, I don't want paragraph after paragraph. Most emails are generally about a page and a half, including formatting. So just be careful with the email that you're writing. And if you are uncertain and you're busy answering this question and you need help, please just get hold of me and I will give you some feedback. So you're welcome to send it to me. So this is due on the 4th of May. So you've still got quite a bit of time to work on it. So please just contact me if you have any queries. All right. So section A is for 20 marks. It's very straightforward. And please just, use your common sense in terms of the facts that you make up. It's got to be realistic. That's what I'm looking for. And for this particular question, for section A, there is no in-text referencing because it is meant to be following formal email structure, not academic writing. So for this one, no in-text referencing. Okay, so let's have a look at section B. All right. So it says here, with the introduction of new flavors, new staff members have been appointed to deal with the specialized new flavoring system rollout. These staff members are from an overseas branch where the corporate culture is vastly different. To help guide all staff members in this transition period, create an infographic that covers adapting to different business cultures and how to improve intercultural communication. All right. So if you are, concerned about what software to do and that kind of thing, you don't need to be. The best one to use for an infographic, it would be your software such as Canva. You can do it in Word or PowerPoint or one of those, but it is Canva is the one that is really well designed for this. So you are just thinking about the environment in which you're working in. And I did speak to you guys in a previous lecture speaking about the intercultural communication and looking at the communication model and how to deal with other people. So you're going to be drawing on that for this particular question. All right. So when you are working with this particular question, you are needing to think about your structure of the infographic. It's got to have good flow. It's got to be logical in the presentation of the content, and marks are awarded for the overall presentation as well as the content in it. So please just make sure that you are using a software effectively so that you are able to get as many marks as you possibly can. When you are producing the infographic, just think about what you're trying to put across to me, what you're trying to show. And, if you're using any graphics and what have you from in Canva, you don't have to reference those. So again, this won't have in-text referencing. But for question A and B, any sources you use to create these resources, anything you source, so the textbook or online or whatever, you need to have it in your full reference list at the end. All right. So for this section B, just to remind you guys, it's page 123 that has the infographic in the textbook, which speaks to your intercultural communication. So this is meant to be something visual, it's meant to be something interesting, and just make sure that there's a balance between visual effect as well as content. Again, this question is for 20 marks. All right. So moving on to section C, This is also again for 20 marks. It says, after receiving feedback from your superiors at Pringles on the email you have written, you are asked to develop an audience profile for the staff of Pringles to make future communication more targeted. So it says you can decide on the profile of the workforce you are working with at Pringles. Okay. So what you're trying to do, so it says your audience profile must include identity of your primary audience, the size and geographic distribution, the audience composition, the audience members' level of understanding, the audience's expectations and preferences, and forecast probable audience reaction. All right, so if we have a look at this particular question, I'm just going to read over it again carefully. It is the feedback from Pringles on the email you have written. You are asked to develop an audience profile for the staff of Pringles to make future communication more targeted. All right. So you can decide on the profile of the workforce you are working with at Pringles. So this profile is based on the staff of Pringles. Okay. So you are going to be looking at it not in terms of the audience who are actually are dealing with Pringles or purchasing Pringles. This is based on the Pringles South African franchise. All right. So it is very important to make sure that you are thinking about who the type of people are that work for Pringles. You are thinking about what they would consider important, and basically just profiling the type of people working at Pringles. All right. So when you are developing your audience profile, just to remind you, that is page 142 of the textbook, page 142. You are, and just to say that when I'm giving you the page numbers, it's the page numbers at the top of the page, not the page numbers that Adobe sets at the top. So it's what the actual page is. And for this, just think clearly about the type of people that would be working there, the size and geographic distribution. So within South Africa, who are the audience profile looking at race, gender, ethnicity, culture. Their level of understanding should hopefully be high because it's the company that they work for. Their expectation and preferences, and their reaction. All right. So again, you invent any information that you do not have access to. Because in this one, we're just looking at, the theory as well as the application. So what you need to do for this question, this one will have in-text referencing. You first need to give a definition of what, for example, primary audience is, or what size and geographic distribution means. You're going to first give me the information, all right, directly from the textbook. So that would be referenced accordingly. And then after that, you would have the application and relating it to Pringles. All right. If you have sourced any information directly from Pringles website or what have you, you can in-text reference that as well. If it's stuff that you've made up, that obviously won't be referenced. Okay. So again, for 20 marks, it's very straightforward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're looking at about 4 marks a point, obviously give or take. 3 to 4 marks, just depending on the length and detail. So I'm just looking at the overall picture that you have created and just showing me your understanding of what the audience is like, the people that would be receiving your email. All right. And then finally, section D. Okay. It says the staff have now been brought up to speed, and it is time to introduce the new flavors to the retailers, so the people that are going to be stocking the chips, so that they are aware of what is happening before the consumer is made aware of the new flavors. So now you have to make 2 attempts. So remember I talked about the 3-step writing process. So we're going to be using that for this particular question. So the idea here is you're deliberately going to be making mistakes. So on page 140, just want to write that up here. On page 140 is the three-step writing process. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a first draft, all right? And in that first draft, guys, I want you to deliberately have spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, just type, all right? The idea is I want to see errors. That is the point of it, all right? And then once you have done that first draft, you're going to show me a revision of it. So this message that you are distributing will inform the retailers of the new flavors launching and the campaign that will be rolled out to the consumer to create interest in the products. So you've got to make the specifics up. Are there going to be specials being run, you know, buy three or buy three for 20 Rand, or buy two, get one free, or what specials are you going to run to promote this? Are you going to have in-store display set up? Are you going to have you know, someone cooking sushi in the flavors of the three new flavors? What are you going to be doing? That is what you need to tell us, okay, or tell me. And the idea here is you're going to plan the message first, all right? So you're going to draw a mind map for me. So this obviously needs to be done in Word, so or Canva or whatever you want, but a digital platform where you'll do a mind map. It says include as an image in your document to show your planning process. And the idea here with this mind map is you should be able to get an overview of all the different views and thoughts and ideas that you might have for this campaign. Again, you need more than what you're actually going to finally use, because then it means that we can see your process. Then you're going to write your first draft. And in that first draft, you need to use markups. The idea here is that I need to see your errors, the different bits of information that, you know, we need to show that you actually understand this editing process. Okay, so whether it be underlining incorrect spelling, whether it's circling things, it's editing for clarity, all right, for conciseness, and making sure that we are able to see that you are thinking about the process that entails when it comes to editing work, all right? It's not just about you know, just circling stuff for the sake of it. It's deliberately highlighting errors. So this you can either do with freehand in Word, you know, where you can underline, use the pen tool and underline it and all that, or you can do comments. So you can have use track changes and show me the comments, and then take a screenshot of that and add it in. But I've just got to be able to see the errors that you've deliberately made. Then finally, you actually go and edit your work and produce an edited version. So what's important here is not to edit the work before you show me the changes. You need to make sure that you have deliberate mistakes in place so that I can see the process. And that way it means that I can identify and be able to see the development from step one all the way to the final product. So for this particular question of 40 marks, you are going to have a mind map, a first draft, and a final draft. Okay. Now, remember that this is a document that's going out to the retailers, all right? And that would be in the form of an email. So again, you need that email format when producing this, your first and revised drafts. So just make sure you follow that formatting that you did previously. Okay. So that is your assignment. All right. And as it just says here, give me a second, that there are no word count limits for the questions, but you know, you've got to make the content fit for purpose. You've got to think about how much detail you would put into something to produce this assignment, and then just use the rubric as a guideline when you are working on this, so that you are doing every step that needs to be done. And when you guys are working on it, if you have any questions, please, you can WhatsApp me on our group or you can privately message me, but please feel free to contact me as much as you need and so that I'm able to help you through the process. And just remember, what happens in this part then follows through to the POE. Then it means that we have the foundation in the part that then gets used at a later stage. All right. So that is it for this recording, guys. We'll look forward to our next collab, and good luck with submitting your part. Bye, everyone.